And the man seeking to complete the career Grand Slam, Rory McIlroy, holds a two-shot lead heading into Masters Sunday. You can't script it any better than that. Well, the South Carolina Gamecocks have bragging rights over their rivals, the Clemson Tigers, for the next year. Well, if you watched any of the CAA basketball tournament on TV, you probably saw Johnny Ballgame Kelsey right there on the bench with the Cougars. The cameras love him, the son of the College of Charleston head coach Pat Kelsey. I got a chance to catch up with Johnny Kelsey, who says he was quite the big man on campus when he got back to school after that tournament.
I don't know. There's like I saw you on TV like all last night.
I was going to break it down for you, but then I met one of the East Tennessee State bus drivers, so I figured he's going to explain this way better. So this is Mike Boyd. You were driving one of the buses for ETSU. Y'all left, and then kind of tell me what happened on y'all's drive from Tennessee here because of the storm and everything.
Well, we saw all the warnings and stuff, and we thought we could beat it, but we got over into Asheville. By the time we got to Hendersonville, there was so much going on that the roads were blocked.
I saw the NCAA tent over there. Have you gotten to play yet, and have you made yourself yet?
Oh, I've been grinding on that game. I'm not going to lie. I've been putting in hours, and I have a lot of fun playing my friends, being Clemson. We'll play Clemson versus Clemson sometimes.
Kevin, heading into this lower state championship, Summerville head coach Ian Rafferty said the keys to this week were playing physical and not beating themselves. Well, the Green Wave really dominated both sides of the ball from start to finish tonight on their way to a 35-6 win over Sumter to punch their ticket to the state championship, their first trip since 2007.
I'm joined now at the desk by our Summer Huechtker, who's going to tell us a little bit more about this story.
Yeah, Anna, what we know so far is that Miller died of an undisclosed illness, and that according to a release from the family, actually through the New York Yankees, he died peacefully in his sleep on Friday. Now, Miller was the son of Brett Gardner. He's a beloved baseball star here in the Low Country, a Holly Hill native. He was inducted into the Charleston Baseball Hall of Fame in 2023. Well, hard to believe it's the final weekend of high school football, and it doesn't get better than this one. For the first time in 17 years, Summerville back in the state championship game, ending their longest streak ever of missing the state finals. We head to Orangeburg, South Carolina, the home of SC State University, hosting state final games all weekend long, and today a clash of titans, old versus new. Wrapping up your NASCAR experience, I do have to ask you about the cameo in the Talladega Nights movie. I know you've talked about this before, even with ESPN and stuff, but just tell me about that experience. I know that was probably, what, early 2000s now?
It was 2006, and you've done your homework, because I did have a very brief role in that movie. It was really by accident.
RBs on 3, 1, 2, 3. RBs.
Anaya Jenkins is a sophomore at James Island High School. She's the youngest member on the Trojans coaching staff and also the only female.
Coaching is the way to go. I've never loved anything. I've never been more passionate. I've never invested so much time into something like I've done coaching.
James Island head football coach Jamar McCoy admits when Anaya first told him in his class that she wanted to come coach football, he was skeptical.
At first, I thought it was a joke, and I was like, yeah, sure, come. And she came out, and she stayed a week, and I was like, well, maybe she really likes it. And just reading her notes from what she took in spring ball, I was like, yo, she's going to be really good at coaching football, and this is something that, a passion that she has.
Born and raised on James Island, Anaya grew up coming to James Island football games with her grandpa. She says through years of watching these games, watching him as a youth coach, he played a big role in encouraging her to pursue this dream of becoming a coach herself. When you're down here on Friday nights, do you ever look up at the stands and think, I used to come here and watch the Trojans as a kid, and now I'm getting to coach? Does that ever hit you?
Yeah, it does. It hits hard because it's like, this is what I want to do for the foreseeable future. So the fact that I'm doing it now at such a young age, I have so much time to learn more, because you're always learning as a coach. Don't step on my cones.
She hasn't missed a practice. She hasn't missed a coaches meeting. We generally meet on Sunday mornings during the season, and Anaya hasn't missed one. And during those coaches meetings, we have empowered her to share her voice, and she lets us know what she thinks, what's good, what's bad, and different.
They've just accepted me as one of their own. I mean, it's really nothing to it. It's really, I don't even think about it like male, female. So it's just like coach, player, coach.
McCoy says next year Anaya will have her own position group. She'll be the JV running backs coach. Anaya says she's loved every minute of this journey with the Trojans so far. They're a perfect 5-0, undefeated as they head into region play this Friday. But as she has a few more years still left of high school, she says she has dreams of also coaching at the college level. On James Island, Summer Hector, Live 5 Sports. A year ago, Brock Borton was fighting for his life in the hospital. Nobody, not even his doctors, knew if he was going to survive, let alone be able to step onto a baseball field again.
Well, with what I was being told, I was not really faithful in thinking I was going to come back like the same or better.
I would go home and I would unfortunately tell my wife, I don't think this kid's going to make it, multiple times. And every time we'd figure out a way to get him through it as a team.
But after winning the fight for his life, and thanks to an incredible team at MUSC, Brock is back playing baseball on the varsity team at Hanahan High School and ready to deal from the mound again. Brock's neurosurgeon Ramin Eskandari says what started as a sinus infection quickly led to an intracranial infection.
He doesn't remember this. He had 11 neurosurgical procedures. He didn't have just one surgery. He was in the hospital in an induced coma for several weeks with brain pressures that would have killed pretty much anybody.
It's wild to think about because that's not something normally like someone goes through. So,
but at one point he had half his skull removed because his brain pressure was so high that he would have died. And unfortunately, with infection, you can't really put that back on. So he actually has a synthetic half of his skull.
Dr. Eskandari says the main reason that Brock was able to survive and return to his sport in just a year is because he never had a stroke. But even as Brock was waking up from his induced coma, they weren't sure how long the recovery process was going to be.
Well, it was a little bit fuzzy at first, but whenever I was kind of like processing, I was more worried about what I was going to turn out like in mostly baseball, because that's what I was mostly worried about. My dad actually he converted our office into a weight room for me. So I got a bunch of weights and stuff and just started working, I guess.
In this video, Brock pitching for the Hawks in his first inter-squad scrimmage back with the team.
I can't even describe, like, it's amazing. It felt so good to get back on the mound and back with my teammates.
He's basically back where he was. He pitched the other night. He was throwing about 80 miles an hour, which is unbelievable that he goes 6 months out of all this stuff that happened to him, and he's able to do all the things he's doing right now. It's really crazy.
The Hanahan baseball season officially starts on March 1st, and as Brock Borton returns to the field, he hopes his story can be an inspiration.
I hope it just, what it means or can teach people, just you got to stay faithful.
In Hanahan, I'm Summer Hector, Live 5 Sports.
They call me Unc, which is short for uncle, and they love that. They tried the grandfather thing, the dad, we don't play that.
At 27 years old, Elijah Bass is the oldest player on the Citadel football team. I won't tell you by exactly how many years, but beyond that, he's the first active duty Marine to play here.
Well, once I got out of boot camp, I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. After that, I went to a humanitarian mission, so that first deployment went to Haiti. As soon as I came back, went overseas, Kuwait, Syria, many different places out there, and then got back and I went to the Pentagon for about 2 to 3 years, and then I got into this program.
The now senior says throughout this experience, he's been living out a childhood dream at the Citadel.
So my dream before I joined the Marine Corps was actually to play football. I couldn't just because my mom, for safety reasons, she didn't really understand the sport. So I played lacrosse in high school, and I loved every second of it.
You didn't even play high school football?
No, ma'am.
You played as a kid, though?
I did. Last time I played was 7th grade.
Okay. So only played lacrosse. Now you're playing Division I football.
Yes.
Has that processed for you? I mean, that's pretty rare to do.
It hasn't. I think every time I get hit, it processes. And I'm like, wow, look, I'm playing college football. But it still hasn't hit me.
I think the world of this young man. There's nothing I would never do for him at any point of his life or my life. Solid human being, salt of the earth. And I'm just so glad to share time and space with him.
I do have responsibilities with the Marine Corps as well, so we're teaching cadets how to become Marine Corps officers when they leave here, so we help out with the unit here as well.
Once Bass graduates from the Citadel this year, he'll become an officer in the U.S. Marine Corps, and he hopes his journey and his story here at the Citadel can be an inspiration.
I live my life by 2 words that I learned at boot camp: spirit and discipline. If you have a little bit of spirit and a little bit of discipline, anything can be achieved.
Bass says he has no personal goals on the football field. He just wants to do whatever he can to help this team continue to succeed, improve, and win games. But he did acknowledge it would be pretty cool to become the first active duty Marine to score a touchdown here. He'll have another chance to do so as the Citadel hosts Furman this Saturday. For Live 5 Sports, I'm Summer Hector.